Now, on the topic of basic geometry, let's take a look at checkpoint 10.3 part B, question A. Okay, now this is actually questions or diagrams that it's more complex. So you actually have to learn how to draw your own line or identify things, that fits the different kinds of reasons. Okay, so let's take a look at the first part where you are given x, y, and z. Okay, to find and to actually calculate. So you see in this diagram, okay, it's actually quite straightforward for x, all right, that you have angles, interior angles over here. So you see 180 minus 101 would actually give you x degree. Why? Because interior angles, okay, so they didn't give you which number is parallel, so it's fine. You don't have to write the parallel pairs, okay, which means x equals to 79 degrees, okay. Then in this case, x is the same as this angle, right? Okay, of which you do realize x2, okay, let's make it 2, okay, is equals to y degrees y because they are corresponding angles, they are in a parallel lines. So therefore, x is equals to y, which means y is equals to 79 degrees as well. Okay, then let's work it out on the other side of this diagram where you have 105. Okay, you're given 105 here, okay, which means this particular angle is, okay, let's name it as A. Okay, A is 180 minus away 105. Again, because of what? Interior angles, okay, which would give you a final answer of 75. Then 75, which is this angle, vertically opposite angles would give you B as the same, correct? So A and B, they are the same because they are vertically opposite angles. Whereas B is the same as Z because they are corresponding angles again. Okay, so therefore Z shows that it is 75 degrees. Okay, now once done, let's take a look at part B. Okay, let me change the color. Now in the topic of basic geometry, let's take a look at checkpoint 10.3 part B. Now, these kind of diagrams requires you to draw your own line. Okay, so for example, let's see C, right? Okay, you realize that I didn't draw the line for you, so you are actually asked or required, okay, to draw your own line. So in part B, I've already drawn this line for you, so it's easier for you to see. Okay, now let's take a look. I have ACE, okay, which is actually what? Which is actually 7x minus 40, correct? This is what it's given. Now, in this angle, okay, you can tell that this is a 30, correct? Okay, so let's name this particular line that I've drawn x to y. Okay, you know that ACX is equals to 30y because alternate angles. Okay, remember the x diagram. So you the z diagram. When you have a z, you can always apply alternate angles. Okay, so once you're done, you realize that, okay, this angle XCE is actually made up of, okay, 7x minus 40 minus away this 30, correct, which is 7x minus away 70 degrees. Okay, so once you are done, what happens is I will see these two angles. Okay, let me draw it here, this angle and this angle. Now what are they? They are your interior angles. Okay, so I have XCE plus your CED to give me 180 because they are interior angles. Okay, which also means that 7x minus 70 plus 2x plus 25 degrees is 180 degree, right? Which also means that, okay, this will be 9x, all right, minus 74 equals to 180. 9x equals to 225 degrees, of which x equals to 25 degrees here. Okay, so therefore you have x equals to 25, all right, in this particular equation. Okay, hopefully it's easy, enough for you to follow. Now, after learning what we have done in part B, let's take a look at part C. Now, part C, you see, you have to draw your own line, all right? Okay, you can tell that, again, you have your zigzag, right? So you have 1, 2, and 3. This is your zigzag. Okay, then you also have these two angles. Now these two angles are what we call corresponding angles. Okay, so let's say this entire angle I name it as x, whereas the small one I name it as b. Okay, x is made up of b plus 35 degrees. Why? Because 35 degrees, okay, the small one, let's name it as y. Okay, this one is y. Okay, let's name it as y. So x equals to b plus y, right? Whereas b is equals to a degrees, okay, because it is alternate angles. Okay, and then y, it is 35 degrees. Why? Because it is corresponding angles. Can see? So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is that x, which is 56, okay, this is given. 56 degrees equals to a plus 35 degrees, which also means that a equals to 56 minus away 35, which will give you 21 degrees. Okay? Now, on the topic of basic geometry, okay, I'll be picking out a few questions that is not commonly asked in exams, okay, for you all to actually look through and to assess how to actually do it. Now, first thing first, you are given this kind of question, okay, that gives you a really, really odd diagram, okay, and what they are actually testing you is to ask you to draw your own line. So what do I mean by drawing of your own line? Okay, take a look over here. There is a point which you can actually draw a straight line and to say that they are as well parallel. Okay, please be very mindful. It has to be parallel and not just, anyhow, you just draw one line and say that they're parallel. No. Okay, it has to be parallel to the parallel lines that is given in the diagram. Okay, so how do you actually approach this particular question? Now take a look at what they're looking for. Now in this question, part D, okay, they're looking for values of x as well as y. Okay, now applying what you have learned. Okay, let's say without this line, you have this portion. Okay, now angles at a point, the total angle at a point is 360 degrees. So therefore, you know that x equals to 360 divided by 286. And what is your reason? Okay, your reasons would be angles at a point, okay, at this point, okay? Then you will have answer as 92 degrees. Now, when will you write, or when should you actually write your reasons? Always write it when you extract, okay? Because why? 268 is extracted from the question. Now, however, when you extract this number from your brain, okay, this has to be justified by your reason. Always remember, reasoning has to come from your justification. Now, what is the common mistake that students always make? They will put their reason at the answer. No. Okay, your answer is derived from your working. Okay, but your 360 is derived from your reasoning. So make sure to write it side by side. Okay, so now that you have gotten x as your value, let's take a look at y. Okay, now remember my line, the line that I drew previously. Okay, so let me draw up this line. Okay, you should have a straight line that goes right over here. Alright. Okay, now once you have this line, let's take a look at this particular point. Okay, let me do a highlight. Right, you have this, as well as this. Okay, what does this look like? Does it look familiar to you? Now, assuming that this line is parallel to PQ, okay, so let's name this as AB. Okay, how would your working be? Okay, assuming AB is parallel to PQ and parallel to ST. Okay, you will actually see that PQ, RA, they're actually what? They look like a parallelogram. So what does this mean? It means that, okay, angle QRA, okay, is actually 180 degrees minus away 110. And what reason can we use over here? You can use your answer as, okay, your answer as interior angles. Now remember in my notes, okay, I actually mentioned interior angles, you always have to indicate your parallel lines. Alright, please be very mindful. Because they see there's so many parallel lines here, you need to tell me which one you're extracting. Tell the examiner. Okay, so once you're done, calculate this. You should get 70 as QRA. Okay, now once you're done, alright, let's take a look. Now you have your zigzag. Okay, I believe you have gone through this many times. This would be your zigzag line. Okay, in parallel lines, the most commonly tested, formula, or rather the reasoning, will be called alternate angles. Okay, so you can see, angle ARS, okay, is actually equivalent to Y. Am I right? Okay, so now you know that ARS is actually what? ARS plus your QRA is equivalent to X. Okay, again, extract what you have gotten over here. X is 92 degrees. Then also utilize what you have gotten here. Okay, plus 70, okay, will be equals to ARS, which is plus 70. Okay, or 70 degrees. So what should you get here? So therefore you will get ARS, bring this over, 92 minus away 70. You should be getting a 22 degrees here. Okay, now you see, do you realize that because I'm solving all of these questions, okay, I didn't take anything out that was new. Okay, I do not need to write my reasons because there's no reasons for you to write. Okay, so always please answer the question. So therefore y degree equals to 22 degrees. Okay, so can you see how do you actually approach a question like that? Alright, so always remember, okay, indicate your parallel lines and always indicate your reasons at the right point.